Good morning or afternoon, depending on when I post this. Hope this finds you and yours well, and welcome back to Forgotten Gear Restorations, where I'm going to be juggling a pair of Premier Model 90s. It's their Reverberation units, their standalone units. And it's more than just an answer to Fenders. They've got their own little thing going on here. And I'm going to get into that shortly. But just know that you're going to be treated to a rather discombobulated video with snippets being seemingly randomly stitched together. It's not the case. But things are just incredibly busy here at the shop, and I sure wish I had more time to get into these videos. But I'll give you a brief technical overview along with some cool sounds as we run this thing through my vintage Heathkit signal tracer. So you guys strap in, grab some snacks, and once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I do the whole thing. It's very helpful. What's going on, gang? We do have a festival of reverberation here on the bench today. We're looking at a pair of Premier Model 90 reverberation units. This is sort of Multivox / Premier's answer to a Fender standalone unit. And I did take a peek, and these guys do have the original Multivox tubes in there. And what are the tubes, you ask? Well, there's a 6AU5 driver and a 6EU7 dual triode that they're using for input and recovery stages, and it's super cool. And what's extra cool about these guys, now that you've asked, is that there's a dry and a wet signal mix on these. Super cool. You can actually use the dry signal mix to reverb your reverb, to actually overdrive the input of whatever this is going into. And which I've done on one of the samples here. But yeah, pretty cool, man. Compared to the 6G15, this thing runs at notably lower voltages. And that's a big part of the sound of these things, I think. It's just less headroom. They're a little more grainy and less glossy or finished of a reverb texture, in my opinion. And it gives it sort of a garagey, surfy kind of a dirty vibe to it that I really like. I mean, it just makes these really engaging to play. Some people think that they're not as deep as the Fender reverb units, but I kind of disagree. It's just got this really beautiful grit to it that the Fender units don't have. And it makes it, I don't know, it makes it really charming. Love it. What else can I tell you about it? Other than I just finished servicing these two guys here, so this video is a little backwards, I'd say. It's a little backwards. These guys are in great shape. They just required a little bit of a socket clean. I took care of the jacks, the pots, and all that stuff. And then you have like a combo switch and potentiometer for the on-off. This is sort of that papery veneer that you get on those old amps. Pretty cool. I did take some footage from the darker guy back here, who has the previous owner's name and address, which is kind of cool. A date scribble in there from the 70s from one of the owners or techs that was working on it at some point. But let me actually open this guy up, and then we'll see what treasure awaits. So I will be playing through that little guy there. It's going to be kind of cool. I just heard it. There's going to be, this is single-ended, so there's going to be some buzz in the background. But this Premier 90 sounds spectacular. Very surfy. All right, this should be comical. right, and then here's that other unit. Sorry for the hodgepodge. It's just so busy here today, this week. Although I obviously cleaned this up as best as I could, but just take a look. I hope this one's in the same condition as the first one that I just did. It's just a beautiful sounding unit. So surf, pardon the interruption. Just such a beautiful and surfy sounding unit. And this one obviously has some different aesthetics. So let's go ahead and get this guy tested really quickly, and then we'll open her up. The other one, I had to fix one of the cleats. Three of the lower panel mounting holes in the cleats were reamed out, so I repaired those. Went through, I cleaned the controls, the jacks, the tube sockets, and all that stuff, and it's good to go. I just wish I had a louder, cleaner amp to demo these through right now. But it does sound super cool overdriving the little signal generator there. I gotta tell you, just didn't want to stop playing. All right, here we are on the inside. Nothing super cool in here to discuss other than the quirky circuit. And again, that 6AQ5 and then the 6EU7, which could easily be mistaken for a 12AX7 if you just looked at it from the outside. But super cool. So let's put her back together and get a quick sample, and we'll see what she sounds like. A little gritty and splashy queen. I like it. All right, well, there's that. You can see the foot switch cable. The ground is intact, but the hot lead is not. And it looks like that might have been it. Might have been it. And if that's the case, then it looks like it's grounding the signal on the output or the recovery, and that's how it's doing it. So let me clean this up and see if we can get some foot switching going. All right, and there it is, that little shiny spot there. And we're in business. Super high quality shielded cable. I wish I can get my hands on this stuff. The inner conductor's like 20 gauge. It's beautiful.